Good evening and welcome to Friday Night Greg with your host, Greg Stone.
What up? Welcome to Friday Night Greg. Whip it in, you fuckers. We got a great show for you tonight, folks. Whoa, do we have a great show for you tonight. We got two of my favorite, two human beings whom I freaking love so much that I'm gonna give them nice introductions. This is gonna be great. We're gonna have such a great time. But there is a disclaimer on today's episode. This is going to be like, you know, when Joe Rogan does his episodes about fighting and everyone's like, well, I'm not watching this bullshit. You know, I'm not into this shit. I'm turning this off. Might be kind of what we're doing tonight. If this is going to be a heavy action figure episode. This episode is going to be a lot of talk about toys because these two people, they're my two toy guys. All right. These are my guys. All right. I got a bunch of friends who I talk to toys to. These are the two of the highest ranking officers in the Greg text you in the middle of the night about a fucking articulation problem. These are my guys. You know what? Say no more, G-Man. How about I introduce these guys? The first guy I'm gonna bring in here on Friday Night Greg. Whip it up, motherfuckers. Whip it up for this fucking guy. Original co-host, one of the original co-hosts of Cerebros. We did a podcast together. Not my brother, although I should have him come too. Motherfucker, I should have had him come. Nah, 4 people's too many people. Anyway, original co-host, Cerebros, one of the handsomest men, great friend. He is, I've seen almost every Marvel movie with this guy. Every Marvel movie that would come out, him and I would just go, and we would love every one of them. Let me give you a little intro. Let me tell you a little story about him. He's like me. We're very emotional guys. I'm watching Endgame, and I believe I saw it first and then saw it again with him, or we saw it at the same time. We'll have to correct me on this. Either way, in Endgame, spoiler alert, when our boy Robert Downey, when Tony Stark dies, I'm crying, and I go, oh my God, is Evan crying? I don't hear him crying. I look over, and he isn't crying. He's screaming. He's going, ah! His tears are shooting out of his eyes like he was like a monster who refused to acknowledge emotions, and he was just going, ah! And like I want to say ruined it. It gave me a whole other moment. I look at him cry, like scream crying, and I started I'm laughing in his face. I love him laughing in his face. Laughing in his face. I had never seen emotions portrayed like this. It was just like, it was as if everything in his programming was, you are not allowed to cry. And for that moment, the death of Robert Downey Jr. broke those tears. He's one of my favorite people. Keep it going. Let's bring him in. Evan Williams, my boy, Evan Williams.
Am I doing it right? Am I doing it?
You're goddamn right. You're doing it right. You know what else you're doing right? That t-shirt. You looking good in that Greg Stone t-shirt.
Oh, yeah. Greg Stone, baby. Greg Stone, baby. That's what I say all day.
Man, did we see Endgame for the first time together?
Same time, first time, yeah. Because I remember in the beginning, whenever Hawkeye was happy with his family, I was like, oh, they're all about to die. They're all about to die. And I looked at you and I was like, they're all going to disappear. And you were like, why would you do that, man? Why would you do that right now? You needed to feel superior right now. You're ruining this moment for me. And then I cried so hard and aggressively,
violently.
And when Tony Stark, when Pepper Potts said, "You can rest now, Tony," I never rested again. I lost my mind, and I cried really hard. And I thought that it was a normal cry. And then after the movie, I said, "Hey man, I'm really sorry about that. I really cried like a baby." And you were like, "A baby? You didn't cry like a baby. You cried like a werewolf cries. If a werewolf were to cry." You're like. You were like, it was almost like toxic masculinity, you know?
It was you defeating the programming. Real quick.
Yeah, man.
Slow whip for Tony Stark. Slow whip. Rest in peace, Tony. Rest in peace, Tony. Bro, come on. Dude, also, we should also, before I bring in our next guest, I need to mention that why I call Spoiler Williams. You're the king of but you know, you haven't done it in a long time, but you used to spoil every single thing for me ever. And I don't know how. You would just be like, you're going to love when that guy died. And I'm like, what?
Let me clarify for people that think that I'm just like Darth Vader's Luke's father and Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. The equivalent of that is what I actually do in those scenarios that Greg calls spoiling is if I were to say, dude, Bruce Willis is really good in this movie, you'd be like, right, now I know he dies. Now I know he dies. Because you're saying he's so good at acting, you didn't know he was dead. Now I know he died. It's like, I don't actually spoil things.
I don't want to know the emotions. You're spoiling emotions.
And you're like, why did you have to do that? Why did you have to do that?
Well, you used to say, dude, there were a couple times where you're like, this movie's great. You're going to cry. You're going to cry. And I'm like, why would I cry? Why would I cry? You're going to cry in the first 5 minutes. And I go,
remember? Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
Do you remember a specific one?
I just gotta go. I wish we didn't text each other so much because there's hundreds of texts of me just being like, thumbs down, man. Dude, you've like ruined some big ones that I'm like hilariously. But you just get so excited because you get so excited and I get excited. And I will say, like,
so excited.
I'm the king of, like, I don't want to say, like, I'll read into it. Like, I'll read into it so much that then I can't be talked one way or the other. So I'm like, look, if you said I'm going to be emotional, then that means someone dies. You're like, well, someone doesn't die. Well, now you just spoiled it because now I know no one dies. And it's like, I know that I'm bad. So we have like a no talk about the movie at all almost rule.
We can't look at each other. We can't look at each other. I'll look in your eyes and I'll see despair and I'll know that we've lost someone big. You know?
That's why we 21 Bridges last night when I watched it, I didn't want to tell you anything. There's nothing to spoil about the movie really, but I was like, I don't want to tell you anything. I'm just going to tell you that it's hard watching this movie because you can see he's a little skinny and that's sad. Yeah. Like that's sad. And he's great. All right. Yeah. Let me bring in our next guest. Our next guest on Friday Night, Greg. We got to give him a whip. We got to whip this motherfucker up. This guy new in the action figure community. He's not new in the action figure community.
Yeah, he's back. He's back,
but he's new into my texting everyday life about action figures. He's a great comic. We've been friends for a really long time. And then I got to ask him how we got connected, but then something happened where we've just been texting about Marvel Legends almost every single day. I love this guy. Keep it going. Justin Flanagan. Let him hear. Whip it up, boy. Whip it up. Whip it.
Give him a whip.
Flan man.
Dude, what up?
What up? Great to see you. How did we get hooked? Do you remember how this resurgence of our friendship?
I remember the reason you knew I collected action figures was I made it my cover photo in like 2013. What? And
really?
Tagged you. And then you started messaging me like pictures of like your Cobra troopers. And you were like, bro, I built fucking armies. Come at me. And I was like,
a little aggressive.
Like, dude, this is like, you were just messaging me on Facebook, like probably 10 straight messages. Pictures. And I was like, dude, I thought I was crazy because I had like a walk-in closet at my parents' house.
Yeah.
That I didn't put any clothes in. It was like all action figures. Like I dressed in a basement.
Yeah.
And you were just like 40 times more insane than I was.
Yeah, I had a problem for a while, man. I mean, I still have a problem. I would argue I might still have a problem. But
for a while, that's great.
Yeah, not currently.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of lies. There's a lot of lies that Greg does not tell me. He tells himself. So he'll get he'll get a new toy. He'll be like, I'll sell this one. You know, I'll play with it a little bit and I'll sell it. I was just getting it to make a profit. You know. I know that he's gonna open it. He's gonna fall in love. It's gonna be on his bed forever, right above his bed. It's gonna fall. It's gonna kill Tita. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
that does happen though. Every time I get something and I'm like, I'm gonna buy it for a Build-A-Figure, and then I look at it and I'm like, I don't even know who this is, but I need it.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like when you adopt a puppy. You're like, I'm gonna, and you're like, how can I get rid of this face?
Bro, I have a fucking Pirate Deadpool.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I sold Pirate Deadpool. I did it. I did sell it. I got Pirate Deadpool. I didn't even look at it. I just sold because I just wanted to build a figure from that wave. That was Strong Guy, right?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Guido.
and I said to myself, I said, I don't need Pirate Deadpool. I have already too many Deadpools. Now I'm pretty good now. But
is he
I
worth
will-
something?
I mean,
No.
to yourself.
Well,
Jesus,
Pirate
yeah,
Deadpool,
yeah.
no, nobody wants it. Everybody hates
Nobody.
it.
People hate it.
Too many Deadpools.
Yeah.
Dude, remember when the Deadpool? I don't know if y'all remember. Marvel Legends Deadpool was selling for like $300-$400 because they only did one Deadpool, and then they
Yeah.
did a new Deadpool, and then that was selling, and then they just issued 60 Deadpools, and all the
Yeah.
prices. People were like, "I'm gonna send my kid to college on this Deadpool," and then Hasbro was
Yeah.
like, "Buffon its value is nothing now because we're releasing 1 million of them."
Well, they do him
Yeah.
like the old Ninja Turtles, where he just like has every occupation now. It's like
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Deadpool as a
Construction
football
worker
player.
Deadpool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, those old Ninja Turtles are the best. There was like, this is Mark McGuire, Leonardo, and it's like, why did you do this? And they're like, we really are running out of any ideas. And he came into the office and we said, fuck it, let's give him a figure.
Dude, NECA could make those.
Do they have the rights?
Those like crazy, like Donatello throwing a football figures.
Yeah, dude, I got to tell you guys something. I don't know if I ever told you this. I never pulled this handle, but I feel like I should. I have a friend, Christian. This guy's cool. This guy's his friend from a long time ago, and he was like in a music. He was in the music scene, and he was like, "Yo, I know the owner of NECA. If you ever need anything, just talk to me." But I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable being like, yeah, I need everything. I need all of
You
the
need
things.
everything.
What would you pick? I don't know what I would pick. I don't feel comfortable asking this guy for, all of the shit they I don't want to be that guy, but he said he went to the office there and like he came back with like a fucking life-size Ninja Turtle or something. It's in his house. It's like crazy. I just need to.
Wow.
I know, but you can't. What do you do with that? When someone says if you need something,
abuse it. That's what you do.
Yeah,
You
100%
abuse
hit
it.
him up every day.
100%.
Yeah, text him like you're
Yeah.
texting me or Evan.
You miss
He's not into
100%
it.
of the shots you don't take, Greg, and you miss 100% of the shredders you don't ask for.
Yeah,
So,
every time you're like, I'm
you
going to
gotta-
text Evan, text the guy who knows the NECA owner.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of the greatest lie ever told, the greatest lie ever told is that I will sell these action figures. I need to not lie. I'm trying to be not. We're getting into some stuff, but I'm trying not to lie about toys anymore. That's like with my what? Because I used to lie. I don't know if you guys had to go through this stage.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little older than both of you, so there was a time when action figure collecting wasn't as accepted as it is now. There was a darker time. You had to like come out. I used to not tell
However,
girlfriends.
you still have to come out a little bit.
You kind of have
A
to.
little
I mean,
bit.
look, I'm kind of
Yeah.
being sarcastic. You still kind of have
You
to come
still
out.
do. Yeah. I definitely like when I first started posting the Castle Grayskull, I had to be like, look, this is me. And
Yeah.
anybody who's like new in the past like year or something on Instagram or whatever, this is me. And I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
here it is. It's gonna happen.
Funny story about that. Jenny saw that you posted that on Instagram and was like, Justin, did you see what Evan just posted? And I
Wait,
was
what?
like,
The Grayskull?
what is it? And then
Yeah.
it was just like, I just started talking about action figures. And she was like, why did I tell you this? Hey,
Wait, I'm confused. I'm
Yeah.
confused. Jenny showed that Evan
yeah,
posted
Evan
Grayskull.
posted this picture of Castle Grayskull, and I just like went off on tangents about action figures because I'm like, oh, you're like, talking about what interests me.
Right.
Yeah.
This thing that you usually hate.
Right.
So I'm going
They
to take
sound like
advantage
she's
of it, and
beginning.
I'm not going to shut up.
Yeah. I
Do
think
you
we need
guys-
to all post about it, man. So
Me
slowly
too.
they find some acceptance, We're helping
got-
our ladies find acceptance in who we are.
I
Yeah.
tell this story a lot. And I just did real quick tell you this. I tell this story a lot. I used to date this girl who would come over, and I used to take all my action figures off of the shelves, put them all in laundry baskets, and she would come in, and in the room was empty shelves, nothing on the wall for like a year. And she was like, when are you going to get stuff? And I'm like, I'm not really into things, And then my fucking roommate at the time let her into the house and just let her go into my room, and she saw all of the figures because I didn't take anything down. And I came in and she was sitting there literally on a beanbag chair and goes, I thought I knew you. And I was like,
That
yeah.
is
He was out of
insane.
beanbag chair.
Spider-Man.
And the action figures was fucking crazy
I
to her.
thought I knew you had the
beanbag
beanbag
was
chair.
hidden.
That said enough.
The beanbag chair was also under the blankets, and like it was a Spider-Man chair that was all hidden in a corner. All of my comic book memorabilia was all hidden. And then I took it, like I would, when she would come over, we mostly go to her house and go on dates, but I was like, I'm going to tell her eventually. And I just was like, she's not, dude, at that time, I think it's a little bit different now. But at that time it was nowhere near okay to be collecting action figures.
She also sounds extreme. I mean, that was like, I've had that exact, and I'm not just saying this to be funny. I've had that exact same thing happen, but with cocaine. And like, you know,
that's the usual story.
That warrants that behavior from a person a little more than like he likes action figures. Do you think that she left you because the action figures are stupid, or do you think she left you because you were lying about it and that's weird? Which part was weird to her?
She said it was the lying. But I know it wasn't, because I even know, like, I had sent floaters by her about like comic book stuff, and she was like, I don't know, that's for children. And I was like, I'm talking about a movie that came out. You have no idea how many Professor X figures I have. Not even like regular X-Men. I have a few Professor X's. This is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So like, then we kind of broke up.
Teacher, and I have him conduct classes.
Yeah. Did she break up with you immediately, like on the spot?
No, she was like mad and she left, and then it was like, you know, like a month of fighting about other things, and then
what did you say?
Were
you like, I didn't think you would accept this part of me? You know, I was trying to impress you. Did you go the honest route, or were you like, this is my roommate's toys? Or like, what did you say?
No, I was like, yeah, no, I collect action figures, and I didn't think you'd be into it, as you've alluded. And I did lie, and I was like, I just never put them up. I had finally put them up. And she was like, you're lying again. And I was like, maybe I am. Maybe I am. And she's like, you're a liar.
Classic guy who doesn't learn. Like, next time she comes over, you hide them again.
Yeah.
I threw them away. I threw them all away for you, for our love. Yeah. Then she got another, and they're back again.
Never happened. That day never happened. You were dreaming. You like gaslight her into think you're like, no, you just want me to have stuff on my shelf. So you had a dream that I did, but you didn't like the stuff.
Yeah, just immediately hit her in the head, and she sees them, and then she wakes up, and it's all gone. And I'm like, "What happened? You came in, and
you don't know, mumbling in your sleep about like Professor X and like all this
It's stuff. Crazy that you still think she broke up with you to this day about the action figure. I haven't come to terms with the fact that it was the lying.
The way more than street strike lying.
Yeah,
it was like 40 lies.
You're like, dude, you just couldn't accept me for who I was.
Yeah. Well, can I tell you a fun other part of this? I'll tell you a fun other part about this is that when I had met her, this is like fucking crazy. I don't even know how I'm going to explain. I don't even know how to even explain this. When I met her as somebody else. I met her as this. I used to do this character, Gus Dakota, and I went to a Halloween party dressed as Gus Dakota. Gus had a fake mustache, sunglasses, he wore a cigarette, and I was in character the whole party, and I was like, you motherfuckers looking to fight the Dakota brothers, got you. I am fake hitting on her the whole time, just being like, girl, you got a body that won't quit, like just saying crazy things, but it kind of worked.
She was into that guy?
Wait.
Yes.
Maybe that's who she thought she knew.
Dude,
yeah, man.
Wait, it's crazy. This is like insane. I'm trying to put the pieces together a little bit too. So she like falls for Gus Dakota, who was me, but it's kind of like falling for Tony Clifton. It was like a Tony Clifton-esque thing.
Yeah.
And so then she met me, and we had a great time. And at the time, I was in this documentary about men. This is so long ago that it was literally about men growing mustaches, because at the time no one had a mustache. Like if you grow one, you look like a porn star. So it was like all these guys had to grow mustaches and see what happens. So I had to grow the mustache for the documentary. So I still was technically kind of Gus Dakota. Like I still kind of was that guy. Documentary's over. I shave it, and that's when things started to fall apart. I think she just loved this other guy who was like this brazen alpha male, and then literally found out she was dating some guy who wasn't and collected toys, and everything was a lie. So I mean, yeah,
That's
probably
what
her, probably
happened.
my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I feel like that's
Whatever.
what happened with Ric Flair 5 times, you know? Just like if you look at his marriages, they literally start like his marriage ends in like 1998. Next marriage starts 1998. All of his marriages overlap, and it's just a collection of women falling for the nature boy, you know?
Yes,
She fell for your
absolutely.
nature boy, dude.
They fall for the nature boy. They fall for
Yeah.
the character. So I want to ask you guys, because I did a lot of talking. Do you guys have any? And you don't have to have one if you do. If you don't, no big deal. Do you have any coming out stories? Do you have any? Like, did you have any? Like, Flan, did you have to tell Jenny about toys, or did that overlap? Like,
I mean, when
Or
we
any
first
girl.
started dating, I sold everything when we first started dating.
yeah,
And then slowly I just started collecting them. So she got to see like the process of like me losing my mind. You know what I mean? Like,
Same, yeah.
I came home with like a Fortnite banana. And she just had to accept the fact that I like put that in the banana bowl to like fuck with her.
yeah.
And yeah, she just it was weird at first. Like she was Googling psychological she was like, what is
Yeah. Yeah.
psychological reasoning for a man playing with a toy?
Yes. Are they pedophiles? That's like a
Yeah,
big question.
yeah.
They think
And,
like,
like,
are
She
you
didn't
trying to
realize
lure
that,
somebody?
like, all her Google search history was like linked to my account.
yeah.
So she was just like searching stuff, and I would see like, why is my boyfriend collecting action figures? Psychological reasoning, and I would just have to pretend like I didn't see that until just now when she walked down and said, "Oh my god!"
She's there. Is Jenny there?
Now she
Can I
just
ask
walked
her?
downstairs.
Oh,
just
did
I
she?
mean,
found
yeah,
out
we live in the
live.
same home.
Right. Was she into it though? Did she hate it? Did she care?
I mean, she accepts it. She knows it's a problem. I mean,
It's a problem.
yeah.
I love that it's a
like,
problem.
She knows
It
it's
is. It's a
probably
little bit of a problem.
It's a mental
It's a
illness.
little bit of a problem. I
Yeah,
mean, this is what the episode might turn into, is like an
Yeah,
intervention on
yeah.
ourselves.
It's a little bit of a
Yeah.
problem, but like
yeah.
you're looking at 3 people who've had bigger problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, except
Yeah.
2 of them have addressed them. That's the thing.
Right.
You guys are sober.
Right, you're probably still like lying too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evan, what about you? Did you have to come out to Felicia?
She was with me in my transition, you know? Like we've been together.
She was with
for
you when you were doing
11
cocaine,
No,
or like
right.
after that. Like
she was in school with me when I was doing cocaine. So like, because her last name was Torres and my last name was Williams, we would sit beside each other like ABC order and shit.
Yeah.
And so like I would come into school like still on coke or like still on ecstasy or hungover from a night of drinking, and like I would just crash like right beside her. So she saw like a real problem.
Yeah.
That's always my scapegoat. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I had
it's
a real
good.
problem. Okay, this is not a big deal, you know. But no, we got together after I was sober, and I didn't really have any. I had like a couple toys. I had the Punisher from like Series 2.
Hell yeah,
Of
Toy Biz,
Marvel
right?
Legends.
I
Yeah,
still have
and
that.
that's
It's a great
I mean,
figure.
It's a great figure to this day.
Still holds up.
And I just slowly got into it. I remember first start like, you know, I worked Toy Fair 2012, and I was like, oh, these are like way better than when I was a kid. I can collect these now. I won't feel like I'm collecting Kenner toys that like,
Yes.
you know, have like 5 points of articulation. Like this is like made for a day. It says adult. It says adult
adults.
collector right there. And
Does not
so
say
I
4 and up. It says like
No.
16 and up. No,
Yeah,
it literally
man. I
says.
don't know if it's
It literally
Does it
says
say
4 and up. I made that.
Yeah,
I just pulled that
Yeah.
number, and it literally says 4
I
and up.
swear that
I'm not
like,
caught on that too.
I swear Series 1 of Hasbro, like with like Mighty Thor and like
Might be.
and
This is
all
a
them,
retro
I
figure
swear-
packaging,
yeah.
so maybe.
yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
But yeah, so I started collecting those, and I was just like, we'll just get them. Like everybody has paintings. This is just another form of art, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a little form of art that'll be on a shelf somewhere. It'd be like, you know, and then it just built and built and built. And then her and I went and literally, I mean, come on, dude. Come on, dude.
I know. I was
Come
waiting
on,
to
dude.
talk about that. Was going to be my next
Listen,
question.
man. Dude,
Yeah, that's a
we
two-person
literally
carry right there.
in quarantine picked this up from a guy, like a drug deal, in Fresno, California. We took a 45-minute Uber to go pick this up from a man's house. So she's in now. She's in. She's part of it. She's been in the drug.
But she gives you
deals.
looks, right? Jenny and
Absolutely.
Felicia, they still give you when packages come in the mail. You get a look.
Absolutely.
You get a little side eye of like,
Dude, I don't get looks. I just immediately have a defense for why I needed something. You like spend the whole day before knowing that it's going to come from Amazon. Like what? Just being like, I got a good reason for this one though. This is a different Becky Lynch, you know?
yeah.
Totally.
My big lie. Hey, Greg, what are your favorite comic book issues or series? I'm gonna get into that in a second. I want to finish this. Thanks, Mike. You see the technology we have? We have we can. That's the man
That's
right
great.
there.
That's great.
No, dude, this is the champ. The champ
This is the
here,
craziest.
bro.
That's the craziest figure I've ever seen in my life. Is that
Faker
John Cena, He-Man?
It's John Cena as Faker He-Man.
Faker, dude.
Crazy.
Faker.
That's the craziest
Love it.
shit I've ever seen. They're doing He-Man wrestling crossovers.
Have you
Master-
seen the many faces? Did you see that one, Greg?
He's about to
incredible.
show me. He showed us before the show.
It's incredible.
Who is
It's
he?
many faces, but New Day. So it's
New
the
Day.
3 faces of
Big
New
New
Day.
Oh wow! It's all three of them.
Inside the many
All three
faces.
of them, bro.
Do they have to
It's
share
amazing.
residuals on a single figure?
Probably,
Fuck.
but let's not get into the politics.
Ooh.
Vince is a
Never
motherfucker.
even
They ain't
thought
getting
about
shit.
that.
They're not getting a single residual from any of those fucking figs.
Yeah.
What is?
Yeah, dude. When a package arrives, it's like when my go-to lie, the one I still tell, is I ordered this 6 months ago. For some reason,
Why do I do that too?
I don't
Sorry, go
know.
ahead.
It helps for some reason because it's like I'm a good guy now. I did this
I've already
6
changed.
months ago. You could be mad. You could be mad at the old me.
Yeah,
this is
but he's
just like
dead.
residuals of the old me. Yeah.
Absolutely. I always go,
Yeah.
Mezcos. I ordered them a year ago and they just got
Yeah.
here.
Pre-order.
And like for the most part, it's
Um,
true. But sometimes with the Marvel
Yeah.
Legends, if a Marvel Legend comes, it's like, yeah, I ordered that last night.
100%. Or if a vintage figure, I buy a lot of like vintage figure. Like, I mean, at this point, this is like 7 years old, so I can't be like, when something comes that came out a long time ago, it's like you had a meltdown at 3 a.m. and bought a puppet from the 80s known as a Boglin, and that's insane.
So my
We could
question,
go out to eat. We could have a really nice meal out.
my question
Instead.
for you two is a two-part. I want both of you guys to answer, and I'll answer last. What is the most expensive figure you've bought? And then what is the biggest regret figure you've bought? And you can answer them at any time. But what do you think the most expensive toy thing you've ever gotten? I mean, Evan, are you really having a hard time with this? You're sitting next to it.
It's right here.
I mean, really? That was,
I
a
was trying to
layup for
think.
you.
No, it's huge, man. It's huge. I was thinking, dude, I just remembered last night about my Hot Toys Hulk. Remember that, dude?
Oh yeah,
I
but
had
that
a fucking Hot Toys Hulk, man. That's crazy.
you did,
And
but
that's
the
so
Hot
crazy.
Toys Hulk was probably at most $200-$300, but you got it at your probably early comedy days when that was way more
All of-
money,
It was
you
so
know,
much money. Yeah,
which
yeah.
was at that time.
It was the money I made that year in comedy. Yeah, I was
Right.
an open micer, and I got a Hot Toys Hulk. I had not earned a Hot Toys Hulk. This is the most expensive. Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to say the number. Are we going to say the number? Are we
They
just
can Google
shaming? We're shaming
I,
each other
no,
now.
I think
I got
I'm not
him.
saying.
I
No,
got
no
it.
numbers. What do you need numbers for?
Let me tell you why you need
Yeah.
numbers. Let me tell you, because you shouldn't be ashamed of it. Because what you did is something you love. You bought it. You bought something you love, and it brings you joy. If you didn't have to sell your wife on the street for it, if you were able to eat, if it was something you did and it brought you joy and you're allowed to do it, it's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay. I think it's okay. I mean, people could just Google what this thing is worth. But
it's worth like $1,200. I paid $500 from a man.
wow, it's worth
Yeah.
$1,200.
Yeah, it goes for like $1,200. Yeah,
Dude,
it's insane.
didn't they
still-
make a
Whip
snake
it up.
Mountain?
Whip it up, man. Whip it up for fucking Uncle Grayskull, man.
Don't they have like a $700 Snake Mountain coming out like next year?
Yeah, that aftermarket on that'll be like $1,800 probably.
Yeah, 100%.
How much is
It's
it going to sell
crazy.
for? Retail?
700.
Retail is like
700?
$750.
Yeah.
Something.
You
like
can
that.
order it right now, $750.
How much was
Yeah.
Grayskull when it
You-
came out?
like $300, dude.
Yeah,
If
that's a
that. If
significantly
that.
higher increase.
Yeah.
Is this
yeah,
a
big
new
time.
company or is it the same company?
It's
Because I was
not.
confused with the
It's
whole.
the same guys, but it's not through Mattel anymore, or like Matty Collector. It's just like the Four
Right.
Horsemen, I think.
Okay, so same
Yeah, 'cause
designers.
the line is done. The line is done. This is one of those fundraiser ones, you know. So like
Whoa.
it was $300 up top, and then you'll see it in like 2 years. You know, I mean, there's people that bought it, like spent money on it like 9 months ago, and they'll get it like next year sometime. So it's crazy, man. I mean,
Wow.
you did, if you don't mind me outing you, you did
Go ahead.
not anywhere near that much, but you did something similar recently with the Sentinel.
Yeah. I pre-ordered the Marvel Legends is putting out a HasLab Sentinel. It's $350. It's expensive, but it is going to be the. It is like I 100% knew I was going to pull the trigger on that. I was like,
It's
I'm
your
not
Grayskull,
questioning
man.
this. It's like I've always wanted a like scaled Sentinel figure. And I'm also proud of myself for not getting two, because I was like, I might buy two, and I did
Yeah.
not. And and it's like weird for me to say this as a bad addict. I think that might be the most expensive figure I ever bought, and by a lot. I don't think I've ever spent really more than a $120 on a single figure or
You
single
definitely
toy
dropped
thing.
$200 on a couple things that I
Hit me.
also dropped $200 on. Like Ronin, you spent about that much on Ronin back. Remember when Ronin was like the thing, dude?
Dude, you bought Ronin for that much? The old one?
The
I did
old
not
one
know.
at one.
The
you
2-pack,
So-
one,
I
right?
did. I did.
So
yeah.
That
I
was 2-pack?
sold.
No,
I
Ronin,
sold
like
Ronin.
the Build-A-Figure. The Build-A-Figure.
Oh, the Ronin the Accuser. I thought you were talking about like the Ronin like
Oh, not
like
not
Kid
I
Ball
am.
and
Not
2-pack
I am.
one.
No.
Oh no! You might be
No.
right about Ronin, because I did have him, but I don't. I did sell Ronin and Ares, the two figures, for $200 each, and it paid for my UCB classes. So I don't know if I did. You might be. I don't want to call you. You might be right about getting Ronin, but I know Ares I had, and Ronin
I knew
I
you
thought
had
I
Ares.
might have
knew
had.
you-
But to my memory, I don't know if I spent that much. But that doesn't mean I haven't spent that much. I mean, I've bought in.
No.
Dude,
Yeah.
we want to talk. Flan, you hit me with what you think
Yeah.
your most expensive figure was, and then we're gonna do regrets, because I got to get
Dude,
some
We
regret
gotta do
buys.
regrets. Gotta do regrets.
This is both. Years ago, I like when I was collecting action figures, I would just buy anything like anything like wrestling related. I spent like $75 on like each on like these Japanese wrestlers like Jushin Thunder Liger and like two other guys I didn't even know. Or like I knew who they were. Like I think one was like Stan Hansen.
Yeah,
Like I knew who these guys were, but I
you're
never
buying figures of
watched
people you don't
any,
even know. I'll learn
Japanese
about them.
wrestling. I was like, these are just. I convinced myself I needed to have them, and then my dog ate one.
Oh,
Come on,
$75. I think he ate Masahiro Chono.
whoa.
but is 75 the highest you ever paid? Because if so, that is very responsible.
Yeah, dude. But I'm like a lunatic. Like
He
I
is.
live behind a Walmart, so I just go like 3 times a week, and I dig through the pallets until dude,
Yeah.
this is like not a lot of people have this yet. This
Yeah.
just came out.
I had never even heard of it. It's amazing. I love it.
Through a fucking pallet for this, dude. Get yelled at by a lady not wearing a mask. She's like, people can't dig through pallets here. I'm like, lady, put a fucking mask on. He's like,
Flannan swinging on ropes through stock rooms, just hitting like people, like a ninja. I
they're
love
on
it.
to me,
Tried-
man. They're on to me.
I tried the stockroom thing before. I see maniacs doing that, and so I like
That's crazy.
Snake
There it
Mountain.
is.
There
That's
it is.
crazy, man. $750
Yeah.
for that shit, bro.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
that's a very expensive thing to purchase. $750 is
expensive.
too. I got to be honest. That's too much money to spend.
for what
too
it
much
is,
money.
I agree. But
Yeah,
7 stuff is all very expensive, and it's all like made to order.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
and
should
it's
be. You
all-
can't go over.
It's all
Go ahead,
very
Evan.
cool, but that's
So
that's too
cool.
much.
You have to pay up
Yeah.
front for like the ultimates.
But they know. See,
Yeah.
here's the problem. Is see, this
God,
is the
it's
big
so
problem.
Great, though. Look at it.
It does look great. I was
Yeah.
arguing with either Flan or Evan this morning. I don't know what it was, but back in the it was Flan. Marvel Legends used to be super cheap. They used to be like $8. And Flan, Flan was saying, yeah, but you had a job, you were only making $4.50 an hour. Like, yeah,
dude,
minimum wage was down.
2002.
Right. But that was also before they knew that the first Marvel Legends series, they were kind of like, we're selling to kids, but we think these are for adults. And then they realized that adults would buy them, and adults have way more money, and they don't have parents saying no. They only have wives who are saying no. Yeah, look at that fucking
Dude,
thing,
I
dude.
passed on that.
Well, you can come over. That's what I say. I have the same rule with Evan.
Yeah.
If I have a toy,
If we
you
own
have
a toy, you own a toy. That's right.
You come over and you look at it. You feel it around, you know?
I got
We
a
have it.
bat wing. I got a bat wing. It's Greg's. Anytime he wants to just have a bat wing. That's
Yeah.
it, bro.
I have a
Dude,
Lego Jokerland with a working roller coaster. That's probably the most expensive thing I own, actually.
How much was that?
$300, but it sells
That's
for like
pretty-
$600 now.
But that's the thing,
Yeah.
right? That's the great lie. This thing too is like, because that's the
Mhm.
excuse. We need to get away from that excuse. Because that's the thing. We go, honey, I bought it for 200, but it sells for 1,000. Yeah, to who and when will you sell it? Never, and to no one.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. It's
But it's not
it sells
A
like
roller
that on,
coaster.
Yeah, man, love it, but love it
It's
for what it
cool.
is. Love it for what it is. Something you want, something you have, something you'll never sell. You're gonna lose the
Never,
pieces
dude.
before you sell it.
Hammer.
Or you have a
Oh,
kid who's gonna go to
100%.
a kid who needs some shit and it's rock bottom. What?
Yeah.
What's going on there? I think Flan's getting the light.
What happened?
I just saw you going. I wasn't
Oh,
sure.
Yeah, I was just looking around the room for something I spent money on.
Yeah. Oh, well, I will say I think my most expensive figure was when I got a writing job. I bought the 1990s X-Force team customs. They were all customs. Gerard, this kid, Gerard Starmona.
Yeah.
They were probably around $200, $300. I'm not really sure how much I paid for it, but it was the whole fucking team, and they were all customs, and I loved them. I still love them. Well, one of them fell and broke, and I'm like, no, what am I gonna do now?
I know
But,
which one.
Cannonball, a little piece broke off, and
Mhm.
Richter, his head popped off, and it could go back on, but it doesn't. It's not the same. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
But I want to show you guys something before we get into regrets, because I lied to you, and I want to come true. I want to come clean about a lie. Okay, I lied, and I got to come clean. I had the Spider-Man retro figures. I pre-ordered them, and then I found them in a store, and I said to you guys, I forgot to cancel the pre-order. Man, I didn't forget to I knew it was coming, but I was like,
you can't lie to us like
I
that. Like we know.
Bro, like,
As soon as you say it,
I
as soon as
know,
you say it, I'm like, this is what he needs to say out loud right now.
I know,
Dude,
because
I
love
thought
Greg
I
Allett.
knew you.
I know. Well, I was gonna cancel, but then I kind of
Uh-huh.
didn't. I mean, my mind was there to cancel, and then part of me was like, well, someone will need them, and they can just give me the money, or I'll just give them, because that's the thing I like to do. Is it like, that Gwen Stacy's great? You rip that hand off, MJ?
Dude, it's going handless. I can't. This
Yeah, the hand is bad.
hand is hard, dude.
But let me finish.
What's going on with the hand?
Might
What's
have,
wrong with
might
the
have to
hand?
give it a ricochet hand, bro.
I got you, man. The hand is that classic Marvel hand. That's let me. turn
Dude, they
on
give
my-
this to every woman. I'm sick
Yeah.
of this shit.
It's like a goofy ass, big ass hand. It's like not focusing on.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
like-
tell that it's very large.
Casting a spell hand.
Yeah, too much. It's like, come on, give him a fist. We're all good. We're having a good.
Sassy casting a spell.
Yeah. So I didn't.
How do you like the
What?
Spider-Man that comes with it?
This Spider-Man is one of the best figures
Oh,
I've
the
ever owned.
Spider-Man is amazing.
Okay, good.
You didn't get him yet,
Good, 'cause
Evan?
No, I haven't. It said it's September. I don't know when it'll cut. I got it from
That's
Amazon.
too ab
Or
articulate.
It could be this week. You need them, bro? I got a whole box of these fucking things because I was hoping my friends would need them. That's another thing that I do that kind of makes me
Yeah.
feel better is I'll buy extras and then I go, all right, daddy's got who needs? And then I
Greg
supply.
has been insanely good to me. He deserves all the credit in the world there. That is a
Bro, you couldn't
benefit
get a better
of
stance than
Greg.
that. What are you doing? What's that?
Dude,
stance.
that was
That
literally,
pose.
that took 2 seconds.
Bro, I love it, man. I love it. I used to get mad at
I love
Evan
it.
for his poses, and then he became one of the greats, one of the all-time greats in posing.
Yeah, you got to hold yourself to a higher standard, man.
I do,
You
man.
just do.
I went into Flan's
You just
house,
do.
and I was like, "What's
Yeah.
with these poses, man? You need to work on these."
Dude,
Got to step it
I
up, bro.
just moved here 2 months ago.
No
Yeah.
excuse.
Hard enough just putting stuff,
Yeah.
unpacking stuff.
No
I'm
excuse,
gonna bring
man.
you guys in. I'm gonna bring you guys inside. I'm gonna put you inside Castle Grayskull, boy. What's it look like in there, Bubba?
Damn. Is that a phone or a webcam? That's great.
This is a phone.
I love that this episode might literally be entertaining for only people on this episode. You know,
Yeah.
usually it's like a comedy podcast where we're screaming. It's like, I'm having the
Right.
best time of my life talking about toys to two of my favorite people who talk about toys.
There's humor in it, though.
Listen, man, I don't need to
It's
dance
great.
like a monkey for these people.
It's great.
Okay.
Who cares? I
I
don't care.
think I think they're probably having fun. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the
I
usual
agree.
suspects are going to love it because the usual suspects are like, they'll message me like, yo, I love when you talk about toys. Even some people who don't like them, they're like, it doesn't matter. Anyway, but I'm just saying that I love that this is happening.
I love it.
Yeah. So like, I think that, I shouldn't have lied to you guys, but I did kind of mentally was like, I was going to cancel it. I don't do comics or figures. I want to start now. Hell yeah. Corey versus, that's my boy. We are getting some love. Dude, figures are the, and here's the thing, right?
Little whip.
Let me whip it up.
Whip.
Okay, whip it up, man. Whip it up for Corey. He's the best. I want to say this, man. I
Hell
think
yeah,
in like
Corey.
10 years, there's going to be, I think action figure collecting is going to be way more because it's already super blowing up. You know, it is blowing up. Only
Big
Greg
time.
could make me watch an hour of comic book stuff. Oh, love Helene.
I
She's the best.
literally meet people in like the Target toy aisle
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, it's
trying to find the
Totally,
same
man.
stuff.
Dude, I had a neighbor that was being loud. And I was you know when you don't know who's being loud, you just you villainize them. You're like,
Yes.
he's an
Yeah.
asshole, he's
Yes.
a crackhead, he's a dealer, all these things. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking say something, dude. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
something. So
Yeah.
I went over there, I knocked on the door, I was like all fucking pumped up. He opened it up and he had just like a wall of pops. And I was like, I love him. I love him, dude.
hey, I came here to beat your ass. Now
I
I'm here
was
to
like,
hang
I came
out.
here to beat your ass. Now I fucking love you, dude. I love you.
I'm
I
inviting
just
you
wanna-
over.
I just want to knock on your door and say I love you, and I'm grateful to be beside you. And whatever you're yelling about, I'm glad that you're passionate about something in your life. It turned out he was like streaming, and I was like, well, we're best friends now. And then we got each other's numbers. He texted me what he had. I was like texting him the castle, and I was texting like the Batwing and stuff. Now we were
Dude.
just friends.
Dude, I get a phone call one time. Random. I'm like, how the fuck does this make sense? I get a phone call and it goes, these guys like UPS. I got a figure for. He goes, I got a package for you, and I go, yeah, you can just leave it there, sign it, and I'll come get it. And he goes, okay. Before I go though, do you collect Mezcos? Because this says Mezco on the box, and I was like, yeah. And he goes, I do too. What do you got? Right. And then I felt weird. I was like, look, I'm all about talking to people about toys, but it's weird when your mailman or the post guy, because I'm like, he knows now he knows what's in this box. And it was already selling for,
Well,
Mezcos, they
We
sell for
always know
triple.
what's in the box, man.
No, we know, but they
No,
don't usually.
now.
You
He
know,
knows.
bro.
Huh?
Would you forget I'm a mailman? You forgot that I handled packages? Dude, you know how many boxes I want to steal? that
Dude.
come
Big that
through?
toy store, dude. Yeah.
It's
federal
insane. It's
You
in-
always know it's in the box.
always know what's in the box, dude. It's like when
Damn.
says the mail never stops. We always know what's in the box. That's like my Newman quote.
Dude, I was worried. I was like, man, he knows what exact figure this is because it's easy to know because you know what ships with Mezco, and it was already worth double because it was sold out and it was an exclusive. And I was like, yo, this thing ain't gonna be there when I get home. Not only was it there, it was hidden nicely with a little note. The guy was like, this figure will be safe when you get here. And I was like, I just got scared because I was like, I thought it was a threat. I thought he was like, yo, I know what's in this.
Yeah.
You better tip me. You better tip me on Christmas.
Oh man, we live by a
Yeah.
code.
That's right, dude. That's
We know
right.
it's
a
in the
brotherhood.
box and we make sure it gets to you.
Yo, do you
Yeah.
what do you do, Flan? You work in the place or you work on the truck?
I load like trucks all day.
Yeah.
UPS?
Would you want it? Yeah.
Would I want to what?
Do you want a route?
I might get a route one day.
That's pretty fun. It's a long line, bro.
Dude,
It's
it's
a
gonna
long
be
line.
crazy.
It's a
It's gonna
long
be
line.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like
So
that
what's the
disco
shirt? It's like body by UPS. Isn't that one of them?
guy.
It's basically your
crazy,
workout with
man.
UPS. You start stealing boxes, and it's like collection by UPS.
Oh, real quick, I just want to throw this out because Beggar Amazing asked, and he's a sweet kid. He asked what I think my favorite comic issues I were. My favorite, and I'm gonna ask you guys too, of course. My favorites, I just want to throw my favorite, I think comics that I ever really read was Michael Straczynski's Spider-Man run, which I don't think a lot of people will say is their favorite, but it meant the most to me. It's my favorite Spider-Man ever written. And Joss Whedon's Astonishing X-Men were like my two favorite. They just hit me at the right time, and it was like the first time. It was like I think it's like some of my favorite. Oh, and then there was an issue of Spider-Man where Aunt May died that I cried. Do you guys have like comic issues that you're like, oh, this meant so much to me? Comic books.
I just recently read the Joss Whedon Astonishing. It's amazing. And then like movies and toys got me to read comics, not the other way around.
Mhm.
And so for me, like I watched Avengers, it blew my mind. And then I saw this purple dude with a ball sack for a chin at the end. And I was like, who's that guy? That's awesome. It was like, oh, it's Thanos. And so I looked into Jim Starlin and all of his stuff and like started reading Infinity Gauntlet and Rise of the Silver Surfer. And so that's probably my favorite story is Rise of the Silver Surfer and Infinity Gauntlet. And it got me excited for the next like 10 years of Marvel movies, you know? So like everything just like feeds each other. Like the
Speaking of which,
real
real quick, just what happened there is Batman's White Knight was one of the best comics I've read in years, which then fed into me buying. I was like, I don't stray outside of Marvel Legends, some Mezcos, but I got this Batman White Knight figure because I love the comic so fucking much. And I was like, now I broke the seal. Now I'm on McFarlane. Now I'm gonna get McFarlane figs.
Dude, there was like
this is the best though.
That is sick.
Right there.
How'd you get that figure, man?
Dude,
Dude, there was
how did I
like-
get this? I feel like I had a friend that hooked me up or something.
There's like
Look at
8
that, man.
current Batman comics that are all good.
Yeah. Batman's great right now. I reread. What do you? Can you tell? Because I read Batman Rebirth and it was
I had
amazing.
Last Night on Earth and like Metal. I read all those.
Yeah, I'm
They're
gonna read
a little hard
them.
to follow. It's a little weird, dude. My current favorite thing is Captain America. The current Captain America is like
Ta-Nehisi Coates writing it.
dude.
It's
Captain
good,
America in a woke world. It's sick.
dude. I'm gonna have to check that out because I wasn't sure. I have some secret issues with Ta-Nehisi Coates because he got in like an argument with Sam Harris once, who's like I love Sam Harris. I'm like a big Sam Harris fan, and I'm like, well, then I hate this guy. But I'm like, I'm sure it's fine. I'll read it if it's good. I love Captain America, and I'm sure it's great. You're telling me to read it? I'll read it. Is it on the app?
Good.
Or do I gotta like?
It's on the app. Yeah, it's on the app. I had the trades, but I just gave them away.
That's the
You just missed
giving away
out, bro.
trades. Giving away a comic book is one of the great things you can do as a nerd.
You
go,
just
I read this, I love this. Now this is for you, and then you give it to
Yeah.
somebody.
You fucking hero, man. And also,
Evan,
when you like let someone borrow a comic, you are just giving them that comic forever. When
Right.
Oh yeah,
I
you
borrow
never
a
get
comic
that.
from someone, I intend 100% to give it back to him, but it never gets back to him. I don't know what that is about comics, man. It's been like that forever.
I think they say that about books too, but I have no idea. As I've
We would not know that. We cannot confirm that or deny
I can't
that.
confirm or deny.
Yeah. I've read some
Um,
Stephen King recently, but other than that, those are literally the only books I've ever read. So
Comic Web of Spider-Man.
I'm
I
going
remember-
with my first comic, where it was Spider-Man 80. I don't know why I cut you off. You could read that fine. You just weren't reading it loud enough, Flan. Sorry. I'm going with my first comic, Web of Spider-Man 81. I remember that and not most people's names. That's awesome. What was Web of Spider-Man 81? Can you look that up for me, Mush? Mush, I'm not calling you Mush. Mike Musinelli. Mike, what was you're a comic book guy too, right?
Yes.
What's your favorite? Do you have like a comic that you were like, this meant so much to me? I don't know why I'm explaining as if you weren't listening to the whole podcast and don't know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I read Watchmen when it first came out, and I would say that one was the first one to really hit me.
Yeah, Watchmen was great.
Yeah.
My first
What's
one
up
was
for you?
Marvel Zombies. I'm sorry.
That's your
cut 'em
first
off.
comic? Marvel
That was my
Zombies?
first-
It is a wild
Yeah.
first comic.
I
Who's
know.
this guy?
I grew up a horror movies guy, and I never really got into comic books. And then I saw that they were like, melding the genres, and I was like, okay, I could try this out. I was on my way to rehab, and it was going to be like a long drive. And so I got a stack of like Marvel Zombies 1, 2, and then Marvel Zombies versus Ash, like the Evil Dead.
That's awesome.
And it was like 2008. 2008. Those were my first. It was cool,
Wow.
man. They because the best thing you can do with the zombie genre is come up with like a
Knew it.
new idea. Oh, there you go.
Sorry. Yeah, this is the Spider-Man. Can you see the writer or artist on that? I think it's up with Steve Byrne or not. Or I always mix up. I'm always horrible with artists and writers' names. But that was the Spider-Man, not that issue, but that was the Spider-Man that was like my iconic Spider-Man growing up. Was that art style? I'm always horrible with it. But it was I love this Spider-Man. That's Spider-Man like the 90s was for me was huge. The storylines weren't super big for me because I wasn't very good at reading, but when after 2000 happened,
It's
Mike,
Kurt
go
Kurt Busiek, the writer.
Yes.
It's Steve Butler, penciler.
great. Thanks, Mike. Whip it up for Mike. Whip it up for everybody who's commenting. Fucking Matt Moves Mountains, Beggar, Helena. Oh, you're all heroes. Corey, you're all heroes. Yeah. 2000. I always tell people this, and I'm like, people hate me for saying it. But I'm like, comics that came out before the year 2000, for the most part, blew. They're fine. There's some like good ones, but I really think the fucking shit got so good. I know that's like people hate me saying that, but like, dude, the
people hate that.
heyday for comic books was after 9/11. Dude, when Captain America started getting good, Bendis, all these guys were so good. Brubaker, all these guys are some of the best writers, and they get almost no credit for how great shit was from
Well,
2000.
here's my thing here's why I think it was bad. It's because it's like this. They wrote comics that weren't supposed to be read in like a trade form.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to you about like the X-Men. They're like
Yes.
Chris Claremont, when like in every issue, Cyclops is like, when I take off my ruby quartz glasses. And it's like, if you were writing that to be in like a trade,
Yeah.
you wouldn't say ruby quartz glasses every 7 pages. You would just say it the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be it.
They
But they
also
weren't-
just like, yeah.
Written.
They treat us dumber, and like they treated us dumber back
Yeah.
then. And like we just like television, and like HBO is making TV now that's like way smarter than like network TV used to be. It's like we just trust the consumer more and more as time goes on, and so you say less and you show more, and so there's like better art and there's less fucking words. And like if you read old Spider-Man, it's fantastic because like that was the creation of Vulture, and that's awesome, But as you're being introduced to Vulture, you're like, that's a man with wings flying, and then like somebody's like, his name's Vulture, and then
They
he like
wrote-
swoops down and takes a guy's briefcase, like he just took a briefcase, and then they'll explain Vulture takes a briefcase, and I'm just like, dude, you just told me Vulture took
It's
a briefcase.
a
in 8
visual
different ways.
medium. They're talking to you like it's an audio podcast.
That's
And then
crazy.
came to this, it's like
Yeah.
hundreds of words and paragraphs explain. I'm like, all right, man. I mean, and I think that's more like but pre-80s and like shit, like 80s and 90s were good, but like I think I agree with you 1,000%. Shit, they just were like, yeah, we don't need to say ruby quartz every time Cyclops blasts somebody.
Yeah, trust
Even
your
like-
audience. Yeah.
Batman, 1960s Batman, Adam West, the henchmen, all their shirts say henchman. Why wouldn't you arrest that guy before he did some henchman shit?
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It says it's a goddamn the crime's on the shirt.
I will say though, in those old comics, like the original Fantastic Four run
Mhm.
was they packed so much stuff in one issue. Like that is one thing they were able to do back then that they don't do now. Is like a TV show today.
Right.
They will like really stretch it out. Like this is going to be 18 issues and it's going to slowly unfold. But like in early Fantastic Four, like they'd fight Doctor Doom and Mole Man in the same thing. Like it would conclude.
Yeah.
It was a lot happened.
Billy Batts wrote out shout out to Sandman, which I'm not gonna lie. I need to read it. I've never actually read
Never
Sandman.
read it.
I feel like I may have just forgot,
Yeah.
but like I don't think I ever actually read
suck.
Sandman.
Yeah, we suck.
It's all right. I mean, you just
It was big when I was like a kid. You know what I mean? It was like too old for me.
wait. When did it come out? The 80s? Sandman?
No. It came out in like the 2000s, early 2000s. But
You were a kid in early 2000s?
It came out in the 90s.
yeah,
Well, I
Dude,
guess we were all kids in the 90s.
I was a kid in the night, dude. In early 2000s, I was in 2000. I was 11.
What
Yeah.
year were you born?
Same.
98.
Same.
Yeah, because
No,
like,
you
89.
weren't, dude.
No, not 98, 89. Dude, I was born in 98, bro.
yeah, because
I'm
Sandman,
80.
I was
I'm
born.
89 as well. So I grew up the same time as Flan, and so I didn't pick up the good 2000 stuff until a little later, but I love it. It's so much easier to read.
I remember buying like my first issue of Sandman was number 50. It was like one of like the rare standalone issues they had.
Mhm.
It was like Ramadan or something like that, and it was like, oh, I didn't know comic books could be like this. It was really cool.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was like 94 when I bought that.
That was like the first that Watchmen, Mouse, they were all like, oh, we're taking this shit seriously. But it was all like really great. Like, it's all really great stuff. I liked Watchmen, but not as much as everyone else did. I got it, but I didn't like, I don't know. I think The Boys. What?
Sorry, had you seen the movie before you read?
No, I read it early. I think I read it too early. I think that's the problem with The Watchmen for me is I think I read it too early because it was like it fucked me up mentally a little bit. I was like, comics aren't supposed to be like this. I was too young for it, I think. And then I read it again and I respected it, but I still had this weird like feeling about it. Like, when you watch a horror movie too early and you're like, nah, I wasn't ready for that yet. Like I wasn't ready for Watchmen when it happened. And then the movie came out and the movie was good, but I felt like the movie was too close. It was the first time where I was like, this is too close to the content. So I'm bored because I know what's happening. But they did change I think the ending of the movie was actually better than the ending in the comic. It was just made a little bit more sense. Anyway, but that's how I felt about The Watchmen.
I thought I liked the ending more in the movie than the comic, and then the HBO series came out, and they treated it as if the ending was the comics ending, and I love it so much more.
Didn't finish it yet. I got to finish. I have to finish it.
It's like
I know. I just fell off.
It's great.
Really? All
It's
right.
so good. It's incredible. Yeah.
Watchmen's one of those things that's ruined by a lot of things that came after it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I actually really like the early issues of Authority.
Right.
Yeah, like those are great. And then after Mark Millar got bored, that's when it kind of like really takes a hard dip.
Yeah.
Or that Warren Ellis thing that's where it's the Fantastic Four bad guys. I can't remember what it was called. Planetary.
Oh, right.
Like
I didn't read
Planetary.
it, but I remember when that was happening.
Well, Planetary's great, and then he wanders off and doesn't like. I guess I'll finish it now. So it's weird. It's like I really liked Watchmen because when it came out, there wasn't anything like that you could find.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean,
like-
you wouldn't have The Boys. You wouldn't have The Boys without The Watchmen.
Yeah.
But The Boys is an amazing take on reality and on comics if they were real and corrupt and as dirty as the real world really is.
Yeah, my favorite Garth Ennis thing is still Preacher, honestly. But
Yeah. Garth Ennis
beginning
is,
to end, I don't think there's a bad issue in that entire thing.
yeah, Preacher was amazing.
Yeah.
Garth Ennis is another one of those guys. I used to read Garth Ennis's Punisher, and it was a little too disturbing for me. But I loved it. But I'm like, yo, this is disturbing. They're like cute. He's drawing people cute, and it's scary. Anyway.
Yeah, that one was weird. Like the one where it ends, right? The recent one.
Recent?
Well,
He's
it's the
dead.
last one he did. Yeah, where Garth Ennis killed the Punisher.
Oh, I didn't get to. Are you talking about when it becomes Frankencastle?
No, before that. That's what I mean.
Gargan?
No, it was the Garth Dennis stuff. Basically, that's really all it is. And it ends with another writer, but and that's like that's the only Punisher you really need to read. If you only care about him and not the rest of the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah, no, that was amazing, but I'm not sure about what you're. I don't remember the ending. I don't.
It was the Max titles. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are very.
Punisher
those
Max is incredible. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Kitchen Irish, the one with Barracuda.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the one with the like sex trafficking? I can't remember. I have a few in my stack. It's incredible.
Yeah, and
There's
like
one
Nick
that's
Fury,
like taken, basically.
The way they depict Nick Fury in those also is like amazing. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we are about. We're gonna shut her down. I hope you guys had fun. I know this was a little bit. First of all, thanks Mike for producing the podcast. Mike, you need to say anything? You want to plug anything?
No, just make sure you follow the Rad Dudecast.
Follow the Rad Dudecast.
Bro,
Please
Evan,
do.
did you get the new one? Is that the new one?
Great.
No. This is not the Filmation one. This is the original like Matty Collector one.
Oh yeah. I just got the new one from my brother-in-law.
It's sick.
The kid I met?
It's
David
great.
Drew
Man.
Palace, dog.
Dude, this guy's stealing mail.
Yeah,
That's why he's like, I wake up and I go to a Walmart. Yeah? Are you? You're going to Walmart? Or are you stealing from the mail? You broke the code,
committing
bro.
a felony? Yeah.
Dude, if it says Mattel on it, it's getting opened.
Evan, man, anything you want to promote? Anything you want to say before we go?
Nah. You can
Follow
you
Evan
can follow me
Williams.
you can follow me on stuff. Oh, James Matter, dude. Look at that.
Yeah, looking good, Greggy.
Yeah, I'm on all the stuff at It's Evan Williams. My album is out. It's called It's All Embarrassing. You can get it anywhere, Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff.
Listen to it. He's a great comedian, great friend. Flan,
Thanks, Bubba.
how about you, bud?
I got nothing, man. I don't even know my handles anymore. I logged
Hey,
into
yo,
Instagram
folks with gummy bears, right?
to post a wedding. I had to post a wedding photo,
Yeah.
and then now I'm back off Instagram for another year and a half.
Congratulations, by the way, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Congrats.
awesome.
First of all, we got to end this with one last whip it up. Who are we whipping it up for?
The
We're
ladies.
gonna salute our wives, man. Our wives, who they know all the lies and they still
They
stay
know
with
the
us.
lies. They know I bought that shit.
Whip it up for the wives.
Dude,
yesterday.
I'm 100% truthful all the time.
Yo, thank you so much to everybody who was in the chat. Everybody's watching live. We will be back next week. Thanks for coming on this slight departure of what Friday Night Greg usually is. I think I had a great time. I hope you guys did too. See y'all real soon.
Waving
Follow,
forward.
like, subscribe. Rad Dudecast. Love y'all. Bye. Peace.